Did you hear about the cat who thought she was a crow? She kept saying, paw, paw. What do you call a muddy chicken that crosses the road twice? A dirty double crosser. Why did the cat cross the road? Who knows why a cat does anything, honestly? What's more amazing than a talking dog? A spelling bee.
If you just read the bio for Dr. Steve, host of Weird Medicine on Sirius XM 103 and made popular by two really comedy shows, Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, you would have thought that this guy was a bit of, a clown.
Why can't you give me the respect that I'm entitled to?
I've got diphtheria crushing my esophagus. I've got Ebola virus dripping from my nose. I've got the leprosy of the heart valves, exacerbating my incredible woes. I want to take my brain out and blast it with the wave, an ultrasonic, echographic, and a pulsating shave. I want a magic pill for all my ailments, the health equivalent of Citizen Kane. And if I don't get it now in a tablet, I think I'm doomed and I'll have to go insane. I want a requiem for my disease, so I'm paging Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve.
From the world-famous Cardiff Electric Network studios, it's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine practitioner who gives me street cred with the wacko alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
And my partner in all things, Tacie. Hello, Tacie.
Hello.
And my work partner in all things, DNP Carissa. Hello, DNP Carissa.
Hello.
This is a show for people who had never listened to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you have a question, you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider. If you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call. 347-766-4323. That's 347-POOHEAD. Follow us on Twitter at Weird Medicine or at DrScottWM. Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your healthcare provider. All right, very good. Please don't forget stuff.drsteve.com. That's stuff.drsteve.com for all your Amazon needs. You just click through to Amazon or scroll down and look at everything that we've got on there, including the Womanizer, which is, a good Father's Day present because Dad can, give Mom a hand with that. Also, check out ed.drsteve.com for the Phoenix acoustic wave erectile dysfunction treatment. Thousands of dollars less than doing it in a med spa, and you don't have a stranger holding on to your junk. You can do it your damn self. So check out ed.drsteve.com. Check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net. And check out patreon.com/weirdmedicine, where Tacie and I do a show. And I'm going to start doing live streams. I know I've said that. I'm really going to do it now that, because our kid last kid graduated from high school. He's going to be out of the house. And we're going to have more time to do stuff because we have been busy AF over the last month just trying to get all this stuff done. And then if you want me to say fluid to your daddy, for Father's Day, go to cameo.com/weirdmedicine. I'll say anything you damn well want me to say within reason, of course. I think I've only rejected one, and that one I got them to sort of modify their request. But anyway, cameo.com/weirdmedicine. All right, very good. Thank you for being here. Don't forget Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net, simplyherbals.net. Best CBD nasal spray in the country, I think.
Yeah.
I think it might be the only CBD nasal spray in the country.
I think it is too.
All right, very good. So, Tacie, you have some topics for us today?
Well, of course I do.
Well, then let's just get right into it.
Of course.
It's Tacie's time of topics. A time for Tacie to discuss topics of the day.
Not to be confused with Topic Time with Harrison Young, which is copyrighted by Harrison Young and Area 58 Public Access. And now, here's Tacie.
Well, hello, everyone.
Jumping the gun a little bit. It's all right. I need to shorten that anyway.
It's a little long. Number one, the FDA finalizes new risk-based rules for blood donors, creating a path for more gay donors.
Okay.
They will now ask all donors the same set of questions regardless of their sexual orientation.
Yeah.
So now more gay and bisexual men can donate blood. The new rule is if you have a new sex partner more than one in the last 3 months and anal sex in the past 3 months, we defer donations to decrease new HIV-infected donors.
Really?
Because at that stage, it can't be detected by lab tests.
Right.
If you take meds to treat or prevent HIV, you would be deferred from donation also.
Sure.
Before, all men who had sex with men face lifetime bans on donation. CNN.
Huh. Yeah, we need more blood donors.
I don't know how many more blood donors that's going to give you, because if you are a gay man, you're probably active in some way. But anyway, I guess it's a step.
Well, now say that again.
If you are a gay, I mean, people are sexually active. So if
Right.
you're gay or straight, you're probably
unless they're
sexual.
married.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, unless they're married.
Yeah.
Then you can forget it. Yeah, it just
that.
says the FDA, their final guidance is based on data that shows the best protection against diseases. It's not just HIV. We got hepatitis C. We got all kinds of other stuff. It's through testing of blood donation and uniform screening process for each donor. So good. Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't be just singling people out. Just because of their, who they're having intercourse with. We can screen everybody.
Well, but for the longest time, they wouldn't let people have donate blood if they had acupuncture.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, for God's sakes. It used to drive me
I
crazy.
didn't know that.
Yes. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I can't donate because of my tattoos.
Well,
What?
Yeah, well,
Is that true?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a
It's a-
tattoo, you cannot donate?
For a certain period of time.
Yeah, which
I
brings
forget
it,
what the
which
time
brings up
period
a
is.
point. What are the restrictions on people donating blood if they've had trigger point injections
Yeah.
or some kind of vaccine? It drives me crazy.
It's ignorant.
And my needles are the
Wow, it says your ability to donate blood if you have a tattoo will depend on how recently you got your last tattoo.
Yep.
In 2020, the FDA ruled you need to wait at least 3 months before giving blood.
I was going to say, I was thinking it was like the same time frame as what you were saying there for that. So,
Wow. Wow, you may not be able to donate if your ink is less than 3 months old. Uncommon and unclean tattoo needle can carry a number of bloodborne viruses such as hepatitis B, hepatitis C, or HIV. And people with new tattoos traditionally were advised to wait a year before giving blood. But then
That's
they
sad.
changed it.
because I have good blood.
And what was the other? What's your blood type?
O neg.
O neg. Oh, that's a good one. How about you, Dr. Scott? You know what yours is? O positive.
Yep.
Tacie.
I don't know. I was going to ask you what
Well,
mine was.
you're Rh negative because you had to get
Yes.
RhoGAM after each kid. I'm O positive, so you're something negative. I don't know if it was O or A, B, or whatever, but so for Tacie has the same thing that Anne Boleyn had. So Anne Boleyn was Rh negative. Henry VIII was Rh positive. They didn't know these things back then. So her first child was totally normal because the mixing of blood happens during birth. Then she developed antibodies against Rh negative kids, or an Rh negative fetus, and all the rest of her children were stillborn with the the dropsy or whatever. So high drops. So for that she got her head cut off.
wow.
Yep. Eventually, as he decided that he wanted to have intercourse with someone else to produce a male heir. The interesting thing is that the one male heir that he had died at a young age, and his firstborn by Anne Boleyn actually became queen, and she was Queen Elizabeth I.
Well, what of
So
it?
there you go. How about that? I'll give myself a bell for
Give
that.
thyself a
There you
bell.
go.
Topic number 2.
Very good.
A peanut allergy patch is making headway in trials with toddlers. It's experimental, but showing some promise. It's called Viskin and tested on kids 1 to 3 for late-stage trial. It showed that the patch helped kids whose bodies couldn't tolerate even a small piece of peanut safely. New England Journal of Medicine. 2.5% of kids have this. Peanuts trigger everything from hives, wheezing, and airway obstruction. About 20% outgrow the allergy over time, but the rest continue to have it and need to carry an EpiPen.
Yeah.
You can find peanut allergens in candies, dipping sauces, and then it says allergies. I don't know why. The only treatment is a peanut powder that protects against a severe reaction in kids over 4 years old. It's called Palforia and consumed daily by kids 4 to 17 to keep up their protection. New patch trial includes 362 toddlers. The patch was equivalent of 1/1000th of one peanut. 1/1000th of one peanut.
Right.
118 get placebo for a year before screening. After a year, 2/3 of the kids met the one primary endpoint. They could safely eat equivalent to 3 or 4 nuts. Severely sensitive.
Still, that's it, though? Just 3 or 4?
That's what it says. Severely sensitive could tolerate 1 peanut. Reactions at application site include swelling, itching, and redness. Anaphylaxis occurred in 7.8%, and those parents pulled the kids from the study, of course. Study limitations are young kids with severe history were excluded due to the safety and lack of racial diversity. Peanut allergy can be decreased if introduced to diet 4 to 6 months of age.
Yeah.
about
So, yeah, one of the things, when I was a kid, we never heard of peanut allergy. It wasn't a thing.
Right.
But it's a thing now. You get on an airplane, someone's got a peanut allergy. They can't hand out peanuts, and you can't eat candy that's got peanuts in it and stuff like that. So you look at this and you say, well, shit, what have we accomplished? They could eat 1 or 2 peanuts.
Well, they
So,
don't die.
right. The
Exactly.
thing is that
Yes.
in the past, they get exposed to peanut dust in the air and they could get anaphylaxis. Now, they still can't actually eat peanut butter, but at least if someone else is eating them, they're not going to get anaphylaxis and die.
So you don't think they had peanut allergies when you were a kid, or you think that just wasn't reported so much?
I think that we have we've narrowed what we give kids to the point that some of this stuff came up because they just weren't exposed to peanuts.
Right.
It's one hypothesis.
Yeah,
anyway. Now, Carissa, you have experienced anaphylaxis.
I have.
You want to talk about what anaphylaxis is? Because it sucks.
It does suck, and I think I've talked about my experience before. But
Well, you talked about what caused it, but what does it feel like when you're someone that has anaphylaxis?
death,
Yeah.
doom, impending doom. I mean, mine always started oddly with eye twitching, and then high heart rate, and then my airway would close off and I couldn't breathe, and I would have to use my EpiPen.
Yeah.
I always had refractory anaphylaxis every time, so 4 hours after my initial episode, I would do the same thing where my airway would try to close and I would require Epi again.
Wow. So just the 2 times? I mean, twice, and then you were okay.
And then I was always in the hospital getting steroids, IV steroids, and
Antihistamines.
Benadryl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What caused yours?
Hormones,
Gotcha.
artificial hormones, birth control. I cannot take it.
Gotcha.
Cannot take any form of artificial hormones. And I was actually one of those people that anaphylacted to peanuts. And I'll never forget when I had to go on an airplane, I was so embarrassed because they had to let me get on the plane first to specially clean my seat, even though they had taken care of it, which was really nice of them, like in retrospect. But like, I just felt awkward. Like, I got upgraded to a nicer seat. I cleaned my seat. They couldn't serve any of the normal things. The person sitting next to me, like, had their own snacks, and the air, like what do they call them?
Flight attendant.
Yeah, there you go.
Stewardess. No, it's flight attendant.
No. That's not politically incorrect, is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
I don't like to be called.
Well, if I've offended any Flight
But
attendants.
anyways,
You did.
they basically had to tell everyone around me, like, if you have your own food, you can't eat it. Like,
Oh,
so I just
God.
felt really awkward.
Yeah.
But it was also nice because I knew I wasn't going to be exposed and
Yeah.
die.
But
so
you can eat peanuts now.
I can eat anything now. I have no food allergies.
Interesting. Now,
When
what about
before
these
my
quote
list was like 30.
Yeah. What about these quote unquote bioidentical hormones? Are
Don't know.
Yeah, you don't have you don't want to try it. Mm-mm. Yeah. Okay. I don't blame you.
Well, and like
Because it may
any-
not be artificial hormones.
Yeah, and anything like I was looking into an IUD at one point, or any of them have minimal amounts of hormones and
Right.
or copper, and I'm allergic to copper,
Oh. Well,
so I'm just fucked.
you're just a mess.
I'm just a mess. It's fine. I'm just abstinent, so it's fine.
Everything's just fine.
It's just fine. Everything.
Well, I remember when I first met you, you were carrying around little Tupperware things with little bits of food in it that you could eat.
Yes, because I couldn't literally eat nothing. I was allergic to like garlic and onion and pepper, like anything that touched my body aside from plain ass chicken and rice. That was the only thing I could eat.
Lettuce.
Lettuce
Yeah. Well,
for like 3 years,
you had the honeymooner salad all the time.
apparently.
Lettuce alone with no dressing. Oh, there you go.
There's your dad joke.
Oh, my word.
Okay. All right. What you got, Tace?
Okay, topic number 3, and this will all be over soon. Just bear with me.
No, you're fine.
How to protect yourself from Lyme disease. This came from CBS News.
Okay.
Ticks are out earlier and
I would
staying
say
longer.
don't get bit by a tick. How
Yes,
about that?
that's pretty much the
Thank
gist.
Okay, next. Just kidding.
476,000 diagnosed with Lyme disease each year. Tick bites look like tiny itchy bumps on the skin. Symptoms happen 3 to 30 days after a bite. Bullseye-shaped bumps, rashes common at least 2 in or so across. I don't know.
2 inches.
Oh, yeah. Often it doesn't hurt or itch. Symptoms, when I get, after a while, I just write like
Why don't you
wouldn't
just
believe.
print out stuff?
Oh, shut up. Symptoms are headache, fatigue, muscle aches, joint aches, stiffness, chills, fever, swollen lymph nodes. Early prescriptions with antibiotics help recover rapidly and completely. Without prescription, illness gets worse. Oh, and here is a list. Steve, you love these lists that I made. Ticks live in grassy, wooded areas or on animals. You should
shit.
wear long-sleeved clothing. Consider an insect repellent, preferably one with DEET. Pre-treat your clothing, gardening shoes, or hiking gear. Using products with 0.5%
Permethrin.
which protects their protects through several washings.
Okay.
Take a shower when you get home. Do a tick check. Killing a tick. Put your clothes in the dryer for 10 minutes. That's enough.
If it's not if it's on your skin.
Well, you can't get, I mean, duh, unless you go to one of those commercial dryer places.
Or you could just climb in.
Just climb in. Removing a tick, you take a fine point tweezer and pull straight up, then clean the bite with alcohol, soap, or water.
Yeah. And
then you suck the rest of it out. Yeah, you bite it.
Yeah.
And
And then light that bitch on fire.
I have that tick has to be on your skin for about 24 hours before you're actually at risk for Lyme disease. So that's the thing. So that
Catch 'em
that's
early,
good.
right?
If you just went out, you catch it early, you should be okay. Now the rash itself is called erythema chronica migrans. And it really looks like a bullseye. And it expands and it gets lacier and lacier and lacier. And it is kind of fine, but it's unmistakable when you see it. And go ahead.
It says never crush a tick with your fingers. Put it in alcohol or flush it, or like Carissa says, light that bitch on fire. And that concludes today's Time of Topics.
There is a thank you,
stuff.
Tacie.
Good stuff,
All
Tacie.
right, very good.
What about
Here
the
we go.
effects after Lyme disease?
Yeah, well,
The
okay.
article
So
did not go into that.
there are Lyme disease is like syphilis. It has a primary phase where you have a rash. In syphilis, you get a chancre, which is a papule that divides and divides and divides again. Then it goes away. Then you have a latent period, and then you have this tertiary. The third stage is when it comes back like a MFer. And in syphilis, it can cause tabes dorsalis, which is neurologic changes, can make you go crazy and stuff like that, can make the cartilage in your nose fall off, those kinds of things. And in Lyme disease, it can cause joint disorder, arthritis and heart. Anything with cartilage and the valves of the heart is, basically cartilage. So cartilaginous type material, it can affect those as well. So you want to get it treated. And there is this other thing called southern tick-associated rash illness. It looks very much like erythema chronica migrans, but it develops more quickly. It's smaller, and they don't know what's causing it yet. But if you take antibiotics, it goes away quickly. And fortunately, the antibiotic is the same. So if you don't know if it's Lyme disease or southern tick-associated rash illness, fuck it. You go on doxycycline, and you're good to go. If it's a kid less than 8, you don't want to put them on doxycycline because it'll goof up their teeth and give them these brown teeth. Well, I had a classmate of mine. She was gorgeous, but she had these brown teeth from being put on, tetracycline when she was a kid.
Wow.
But now, of course, we have cosmetic dentistry. You can get that fixed. But anyway, you give little kids amoxicillin. So there you go. Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times, particularly when I was in Vermont. I saw it, I had one that had let it go so far that they had to have IV ceftriaxone daily for a month.
Oh, dang.
That was the treatment back then.
My stepdad had Lyme disease.
Really?
And I want to say he was on Doxy for like an extended period.
Yeah, it may have been. If you catch it early, it doesn't have to be so long.
Mm-hmm.
But the bacterium that causes it is a spirochete. It's if I remember correctly, a Borrelia species. It looks a lot like syphilis, so they're very similar. That's interesting that they have similar syndromes.
Weird.
Anyway, all right.
How about that?
Got anything? And that's it, Tace?
Isn't that enough?
Yeah, it's
Those were
plenty.
fabulous.
I need to have an outro for you, too, and I'm going to shorten that intro.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, now, DNP Carissa, you had something interesting.
I did.
And then we got a bunch of questions to do.
Well, we can just do questions.
No.
I didn't have time to really research this. I just started thinking about it this morning. Why some of us like it hot when it comes to food.
Yes.
And spicy food.
Yes. I love spicy food.
So do I, but we don't actually taste it. It's really just a reaction. We don't have a taste bud for spicy.
That's true. Mm-hmm. We have what are the taste buds?
There's 5 of them.
Salt,
sweet,
sour,
bitter,
and
savory.
umami.
Umami.
Yeah.
Or savory.
That's the secret spice.
That's right.
Sorry, didn't mean to laugh right into there.
That's okay.
And humans are, so this morning I just started researching this a little more, but I found that humans are the only animal that enjoy Tabasco sauce. And mammals that share the same receptors as humans. There are some mammals, that share the same receptors, and they avoid hot peppers.
Yeah, they're like, this. It's telling you this shit's not good for you.
Right, and it's basically suggestive that there's a thrill with eating spicy, sort of like riding a thrill ride where your brain, yourself, you know that you're going to be okay, but in the moment you think you're in trouble.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I found several articles. I did not get to read them all, but I have links to all
Probably
of them.
releases
so I'll probably read them.
dopamine too into the brain, right? So
Yeah.
you get some pleasure out of that.
One article that I just skimmed over briefly was that the liking or disliking of spicy foods is not solely determined by an individual's sensitivity to capsaicin, but personality factors exist that influence the response to the initial aversive burning or stinging sensation.
What about cultural stuff, though, too? Like if you have some countries where their national cuisine tends
Right.
to be really spicy.
And I found several articles that were culturally based, and I have not read them, so
Okay.
I don't
That's fine.
know. But there is a lot of research out there, and several of them also compared like a spicy culture to a non-spicy culture or a more bland diet.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to know.
Well, you know what's crazy? I ate at the Panda House for lunch the other day, and they had a general so-called tofu.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, it's spicy," and I'm like, "I like spicy." I thought, like normal American, Sino-American restaurants, because the stuff we eat here is not Chinese food.
No.
It is as American as apple pie. It was developed here by Chinese immigrants, particularly in the West, when they were building the railroad and all that stuff. And so, it's modified for the American palate. But, I mean, a lot of people in China, from my understanding, would be horrified to see the shit that we eat. Because to them, meat is a condiment, rice and vegetable would be typical, and then, you throw in a little bit of protein as a condiment. But so I got this stuff, and it lit me up. I'm going to tell you, oh boy, there was a lot of capsaicin in it. And my eyes were watering, and my nose started running. I started sneezing. I couldn't talk. I was like this, and I ate every bit of it. Never stopped. It was like, this is so fucking good.
How
but my
fun.
body was telling me, stop.
Not healthy.
Yeah.
Not healthy. I love it.
Amazing.
I love spicy food.
I do too.
But apparently it's just like a torture.
Well, DNP Carissa, I don't think I've ever told you this story. Back in, in a previous incarnation, I was living in another town, and I had gone to the local garden store and bought 1 4-pack of every single different pepper that they had. And so I knew some of them were going to be hot, some of them were bell peppers. Well, I was working out in the garden, and I saw this little green bell pepper looking thing. And I went, well, that looks good. I'm hungry. I'm a little thirsty. I think that, it just looked appetizing.
Oh, no.
I popped the whole thing in my mouth and immediately realized I'd made a huge mistake. It was a Scotch bonnet. And when they're green, they're still hot as fuck.
I bet.
And I couldn't breathe. I mean, it was so hot.
Oh my God.
And of course, I spit it out. And then I did the worst thing you could do is I tried to drink water and just made it absolutely worse because, it's oil-based. And I really thought I was going to die. I thought I had killed myself.
Yep.
Oh no.
Adrenaline.
Yep. And then, of
terrible.
course, it just went away and I was fine. But be careful. If you're going to plant peppers, at least put the little stickers on there so you know what the hell they are.
Or don't.
Stupid.
It's like a fun thrill ride.
Yeah, or just have, pepper roulette.
Oh no, that's a terrible idea. That's Dr. Steve saying that, everybody. Dr. Steve.
I know.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm growing ghost peppers this year.
Oh, are you?
Yes, because I want to make ghost pepper hot sauce because, I got into fermentation last year. If you want to make Tabasco sauce, turns out you have to ferment the shit.
Oh, wow.
So I had to buy all this fermenting stuff, and I fermented it and in 3% brine, and then you put it through a food mill, and then add 40% apple cider vinegar to it, and then I pasteurized it so that it wouldn't continue to ferment. And Tacie, what's your review of that hot sauce?
The hot sauce was excellent. It's this hot sauce radio now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Hot-
that's
hot-
okay.
Delicious.
Hot talk.
Oh yeah, DNP Carissa,
talk.
you've had
Hot
it. Did I give
talk.
you
Oh,
a bottle
yes,
of
yes.
it? Yeah.
Fabulous.
It's amazing.
My bottle's already almost gone.
No, I like
Yeah.
I like the
Ours
kombucha
is all
better.
gone.
Yeah. So then that led into making kombucha and all that kind of
kombucha's
stuff.
fabulous.
But anyway, all right.
So
Yeah.
spiciness is not a taste, but rather a reaction generated by what nerve?
Oh, I don't know.
Ooh, I just set
Say
you
again
all
now?
up for a
Say again?
bell.
What now? Say it again. What was the question?
You don't listen. Don't
sorry.
pay attention.
Well, they
I would say
Spiciness is not a taste, but
Yes.
rather a reaction generated by what nerve?
I'm just going to say vagus because that's the only nerve I know.
hypoglossal nerve.
Hypoglossal.
No, the fifth nerve.
Phrenic.
What nerve? What is it? Tell us.
Trigeminal.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's
Wow.
no shot in hell I would have ever gotten that. I've never even heard that word.
Yeah, okay. The facial nerve is motor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to, yes, of course,
Yeah,
have to be trigeminal.
All right, let's
Yeah,
answer
very good.
questions. Come on.
Good job. All right. Okay. Yeah, Tacie's mad because you asked her a
Uh-oh.
question she didn't get. So.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
I'm just projecting Tacie. I should have gotten that. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you should have.
I really should.
Honestly, either one of you
no.
actually.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed.
I
But
am too, to
hypoglossal,
be
you know,
honest
just
with you. Yeah,
makes
no.
more sense for it to.
Well, that's just the motor for the tongue, though. Yeah, Of course, the sensory is trigeminal.
Come on, guys.
I know.
Go.
It's Saturday.
I have the type of question that you used to answer on your show before
Thank
all
you.
this COVID bullshit.
Thank you.
My question is, why, after I whack off, do I feel completely depressed and feel like I'm an absolute waste of a human being? Did I jizz out all of my serotonin or something? Do you know anything about that? Thank you for your time. Please answer this on the podcast. That's what I
Okay,
listen to.
you got
Thanks,
it,
bye.
buddy. Yeah, this. Do you guys know what it is?
Shame.
I'm a loser, baby.
So why don't
No,
kill me?
this I'm not guessing it. And I know it's not the hypoglossal nerve.
Right. No, it is called postcoital dysphoria.
Ooh,
That's a terrible.
that's a terrible
Dang.
thing.
Yeah, and postcoital dysphoria basically is no one really knows what causes it. It may be a decrease, a rapid decrease in oxytocin after that initial rush of oxytocin. You know, that's sort of the trust
Feel
trust
good
hormone.
Yeah.
That's no matter who you're having intercourse with. If you have an orgasm, you will love them a little bit just for a second until it goes away, and then you go, "Oh my God, what the fuck did I just do?" And then, right, and then you get the hell out of there, and then you leave your $400 on the table. So that's basically
that's
where
a
this
turn.
comes from.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say that.
What's going on, Steve?
Steve's going to the highfalutin side of town.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking $50, but you know.
So, but that's where that I think comes from. Nobody really knows, but it is called postcoital dysphoria.
I wonder if any of it's related to trauma.
Yes. So one of the hypotheses is that there's early trauma that was, sexually related, or that someone related in their own head.
Or shame. I mean, I could see shame playing a part.
Well, and then, yes, shame type trauma when you're a kid, that kind of stuff, shame for taking pleasure in things. So you can go to a sex therapist for this, but there are some things that you can try.
Okay.
If you just feel like crap afterward, take a ice cube and hold it in your hand and concentrate on how it feels. And that a lot of times will break that sort of postcoital shame reaction. Of course, it's, so you're having intercourse with someone, you have this, you have, ice water next to the table, and then you just get up and you hold your ice cube in your hand and just concentrate on the feeling, concentrate on how it feels in your hand, the mechanism of cold being transmitted from the ice cube to your hand, and when you change when your mind starts focusing on something else, it goes away.
A little CBT.
Yes, exactly, Dr. Scott. A little cognitive behavioral therapy. So I'm looking at an article here, DNP Carissa. I'm going to give you a bell.
Oh,
Give thyself a bell.
oh, for God's
I don't want
sake.
her on the show anymore.
says-
All she's going to do is get
No,
bells.
me either.
It says having a history of childhood sexual abuse might make you more at risk for postcoital dysphoria. Sexual abuse from a young age or in your adult years can cause these symptoms Physical and emotional abuse may also put you at risk. Again, if you have sort of a shame response. In the past, anxiety, resentment, or postnatal depression. So it's not just limited to men. Intimacy, not a factor in postcoital dysphoria. There's no correlation between the two. And but if you experience anxiety, depression, and again, childhood or adult trauma, you have a higher chance of having it. So
I wonder also if you could look into that further of the opposite. Could you have childhood trauma, adult trauma, etc., and do the complete just opposite and not have?
Yeah, and just be a complete sex addict, you mean? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's the natural variation in humans. We can go a lot of different ways. So,
yeah,
right.
$400 a pop.
Right? Yeah. Damn, I'm in the wrong profession, apparently.
All right, let's see.
Yes, Dr. Steve.
Yeah.
Quick question. Been too embarrassed to ask any of my doctors about it, but I'm on Adderall. I'm 50 years old. Been on Adderall a couple of years. They diagnosed me through the VA, and it was 35 milligrams extended release in the morning and 35 milligrams quick release in the afternoons. But the question I had was spontaneous ejaculation from the medication. I've been kind of embarrassed to ask about it, but
okay.
I've noticed when I do take it that
you called the right place, by the way. If you're too embarrassed to take it to your regular medical provider, call us.
Ejaculate, just feel like I have to urinate, and sometimes semen comes out.
Oh, okay.
And that's I just wanted to ask about that. Tried to look it up. There's really not too much documentation on it, but
nope.
I just
okay. So he's not really ejaculating. He's not having an orgasm. He just has fluid come out that's not urine. And I'm going to postulate it's not even fully semen. It's prostatic fluid.
Prostatic fluid.
Now, actual semen is sort of a mixture of seminal fluid, prostatic fluid, and sperm cells. And sperm cells only about 1% to 2% of that. So it's mostly prostatic fluid and seminal fluid, or fluid from the seminal vesicles. And, they kind of mix together sort of like, did you ever have one of those epoxy resin glue things where it's got a long nozzle on it, and then the resin mixes inside the long nozzle because there's like a spiral thing. That's kind of what semen and prostatic fluid do. They get mixed together and mushed together to make one fluid that it becomes semen, and it's got seminogelin in it, which will cause it to gel once it hits the inside of the vagina, and hopefully gets close to the cervix, so it'll just sit there, and the sperm cells can do their little job of swimming around trying to find an egg. We sometimes forget that intercourse was actually invented so that we could further the species. I think the majority of intercourse that happens in this world has nothing to do with trying to, make a child. But anyway, so just so that we remember, that's what it's there for. So I think what's going on is he's having prostatic congestion. And there is a single study, there's a phase 4 clinical study of FDA data that talks to this. It says enlarged prostate is found among people who take Adderall, especially for people who are, ding, 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 50 to 59 years old and have been taking the drug for 2 to 5 years. That's this guy.
Yeah.
And so they analyzed which people take Adderall and have enlarged prostate. And they looked at 42,811 people who have side effects when taking Adderall. And, anyway, phase 4 trials look at post-release data, so post-marketing data. So, so I think what's going on is he has an enlarged, boggy prostate that has lots of prostatic fluid in it. And I'm going to bet that if he has a giant, just normal American turd that passes through the rectum, because remember, the front part of the rectum is the back part of the prostate, that he will also have fluid come out of the end of his urethra as well. And so that's most likely what this is. He needs to either jack off more, have more intercourse, or if that doesn't fix it, have his primary care or a urologist feel up there and see if they can feel a big, giant, boggy prostate. And when they do that, they should express some fluid out from there. They should hand him a slide or a Petri dish, and, press down on the prostate. You go far up to the right and sort of drag toward the rectum, go to the left, drag toward the rectum, then go in the middle, and you crook your finger and drag down toward the rectum. When you do that last one, and you should express fluid out of the prostate, in through hydrodynamics, goes through the urethra and out to the outside world. Then you can look at it under the microscope and just make sure it's not infected. He could have chronic prostatitis, too. It's got nothing to do with this. Mm-hmm. All right? Is that a deal? Anybody have anything on that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Dr. Steve, I was listening to an episode like the other day. I think it was on Sirius XM, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was on the YouTubes. I don't know. But you had this fucking hot chick on. She was like a cootie doctor. And she was talking about all the nicknames she gives her box. And she was like, my Pecker Puckins place and my twat and my...
Was that Shanda? Anyway, I don't know who he's talking about.
I don't remember.
Like, oh my God, that chick was so hot. And I accidentally rubbed one off 17 times.
Oh, I think he's full of shit.
I think you're right.
It's the first person.
Because I don't remember anybody giving multiple names to...
We have done that, though. That was a long time ago, though. When you and I think Sarah and Wendy and Julie were here, we did a woman show, and I asked you what your favorite word for vagina was.
That's been 10 years ago,
I know.
Steve.
Well, I mean, these things are still out there.
Great.
And I asked you guys what you think of slit. I remember that.
Oh, I do remember that.
And they were not fans of that one. So, but
well, what do you say to that?
I don't know. Vertical smile, that's a good one.
No, I'm talking about what he said.
Yeah.
Have
So
you seen that?
this is the first
Congratulations.
Yeah, the first time. Well, congratulations to us, because it's the first time that I know of that anyone's ever admitted to beating off listening to our show.
I don't know if that deserves a congratulations.
Yeah, accidentally 17 times, I think is what he said.
Yeah, I think he's full of shit.
Yeah.
I'm calling bullshit on that one.
I'm with Tacie. I'm
and I
going
think we
on the
deserve a
BS.
bell for that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you guys a bell for that, just for generating or causing someone to beat off.
Give thyself a bell.
No, we're calling it bullshit.
Oh, okay.
But have you ever heard the song Camel Toe?
No.
Okay, you should listen to it.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, well, I will. It's probably copyrighted. If we play it, we'll get a damn
Another strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's like 87 million names of vaginas in that song.
Oh, is that what
and
it
they
is?
are
Okay.
all very rude.
Okay, I'm sure they are.
But they're hilarious.
Oh, my.
All right, so the song Camel Toe by who?
Mm.
We could read the lyrics.
Dysmorphic head.
That's Scott's favorite. Camel Toe lyrics. I can
Oh,
read the
God.
lyrics.
Do we need to?
Oh, that's Bob and Tom.
Oh, funny.
Oh, Bob and Tom.
Okay. Yeah.
Love Bob and Tom.
Okay, when you're on the beach and your bikini's soaking wet, I see a fuzzy silhouette. Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we used to love Bob and Tom. Your biscuit, your beavage, I see your cooter cleavage. Your monkey, your muffin, you ain't hiding nothing. Your coochie, your flapper, you're showing off your snapper.
It's so it's so hilarious though.
Merci, madame, voila le bearded clam. They went a long way to get that to rhyme. I could really go for a sideways sloppy Joe. Okay, here they go. They're listing some more. Your labia, there you go, your vulva. Oh, you know I love you. You're Edna, vagina, nothing could be finer.
You're Edna.
Oh, it's terrible.
You got a nice looking Edna there, Myrtle.
My.
It's furry, it's fluffy, looking kind of puffy. Okay, it's blah. It looks like a big taco.
Yeah, Colin says he thinks it's to a Beach Boys melody.
It is.
Yeah. Is it really?
Your biscuit,
Funny.
your beavage. I see your cooter cleavage. Your
Correct.
monkey.
Oh, how
Yes.
funny.
It is.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my God.
That's hilarious.
Kokomo.
Yeah, Kokomo.
Yeah, that's it. I could not think of that song. I was like, it goes to the tune of something, and it's
That's hilarious.
hilarious.
It's
But I'm
hilarious.
also a crude individual, so I find it
Bob
hilarious.
and, we used to love Bob and Tom.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
got taken off the air.
Yeah, and then they started playing
In our
music, and
area.
that was the end of that. All right, here's a good one.
Hello, folks.
Uh-oh.
Hey, look, it's Dr. Steve texting me. Holy cow.
Ugh.
Anyway, got a quick question for you. Let's talk about DNA
Okay.
and hypothetical. And that's the only thing I can phrase it as is hypothetical. Let's say some young lady had to have a blood transfusion because of a motor vehicle accident, surgery, whatever.
Yep.
And she took, 3 units of a blood transfusion. As long, type and kind match, okay. But is there DNA involved from the donor of that blood? What if the donor had a chance in their DNA marker of, let's say, cerebral palsy
Yeah.
in their family history?
Well, cerebral palsy,
or
not genetic,
lupus,
but
or something
there
such
you
as
go.
that. Will the donor now have a chance of becoming
No.
or having that gene interact with their system?
No. So here's the thing. Red blood cells don't have DNA, first off, but you can't just get only red blood cells when you do a transfusion. So it won't alter your DNA, but in most people, for a little bit, you can detect very small amounts of the donor's DNA in your blood. So if you are a woman and you got blood transfusion from a dude, you could pick up, the Y chromosome for a little while, but it doesn't stay in your system very long. And on genetic tests, you can tell that it's foreign because it's such a minuscule presence. But it is there for a little bit. You can't help. You can't. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. But if you could only somehow transfuse red blood cells by themselves, then you could do it. But you're going to get some white blood cells, and you're just going to get some other cells in there that carry some DNA, and you'll be able to detect it. It does not become part of your genome. There's no mechanism for that to happen.
Which is a little different than if you get a transplanted organ, which you might pick up some of the characteristics of the donor.
Well, again, yeah, I mean, you will show markers for that donor.
But haven't you seen like people that get heart transplants or lung transplants? Maybe they take up the donor's desire for food or smoking.
No.
Or you've never seen that?
No.
Oh, dude. Okay, I'll find it.
You watching too much TLC?
No, this is voodoo medicine. This is what I'm good at.
Voodoo medicine.
Yeah, I'm not.
I just want to know if you could get a blood transfusion and then go commit a crime and leave the blood.
And then it'd be somebody else's. There have been people who are chimeras.
That's a terrible idea. Don't do it.
There are chimeras where they have
terrible ideas today.
people will have 2 different sets of DNA in their body. They're called chimeras. And every once in a while, they can commit a crime and they end up blaming it on somebody else. It's usually a family member that has the other DNA. So they could be a fraternal twin that absorbed an identical twin or some shit, and they were going to be triplets, but they were born twins, and one of them's a chimera, and they can get in trouble and blame the other one. Some shit like that. It's
fun.
I've heard of this. It's extremely, extremely rare, and obviously I'm just talking out of my ass. Scott, will you write a note that we need to research that so I can say it properly next time?
Research what?
I
was reading about
I know when you do
take his spell away.
When you do your notes.
that's uncalled for. That's uncalled for.
No, just
I mean,
when
I already
you're
have 2
when you're
and
sending
you'll
your
only
notes,
have
just
1,
say
so.
research chimera.
Chimera, gotcha. I'm sorry.
I'm just
But I really was
fucking
looking
with
up
y'all.
something.
All right. What were you looking up?
Well,
if you can get a lung transplant and want to eat what they ate.
Transplant.
Wait, hang on.
A heart transplant person, it has been shown that can have changes in preferences, alterations in temperament, and identity and memories of the donor's life.
Get the fuck out of here.
PubMed. Suck it.
No, I don't care if it's on
statistically
PubMed.
significant
Well, you told me
is it?
PubMed's the only thing I can use because it's the only reliable source.
No,
It is
no,
reliable,
no.
but they still have bad studies.
Yeah, right. Okay, what are you looking at? I want to look at this fucking thing. Heart transplant.
Okay, here you go.
What'd you search?
It's 317.
No, just tell me
okay.
heart transplant and what did you search?
Heart transplant and donor personality.
Donor
I
personality.
think that's what it's something like that.
Okay, because. Okay.
Hey, I can't help it if I'm right occasionally.
I don't see. No.
What am I writing?
I don't see anything about heart transplant. Read the article. Read the abstract.
Personality changes following heart transplantation. The role of cellular memory.
Okay.
It sounds real.
Okay. It's not how memories are encoded, though.
But memories are encoded in energetic things like water.
No, fuck.
Water carries. Just look at the
Okay, I'm looking
homeopathic
at this
remedies.
now.
Oh, yeah.
This is in a journal called Medical Hypotheses.
Well, there you go.
Meaning they just make up shit.
Well, it means everything starts with a hypothesis,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
There you go. Okay.
Have they proven it?
Well.
Okay.
Hang on.
No. This is just
So you got epigenetic memory, DNA memory, RNA memory, and protein memory. All right, I'll do some research on this for next time.
Okay, now listen, here's how would we design a study to do this? You would have to completely blind everyone from any characteristics of the donor and the donee, basically, the recipient. And then you would develop an instrument.
Okay.
That would say, hey, is this changed? Is this changed? And of course, that's going to bias them anyway. So you have to say, after your surgery, have you noticed any changes in your likes or whatever? And then you would have to have gotten that from the donor as well. And then you compare
Or the
it.
donor family, at least.
Yeah, and see if there's statistically significant difference. Because I think that the rejection drugs and all of the processes that go through, and you're stopping people's heart, and they lose blood flow to the brain for a little bit, and all kinds of things happen.
How could you prove it's directly related to the heart?
Well, you wouldn't, but you could show a correlation that this person hated onions, this one loved them. Now all of a sudden they love onions, but you would have to do it multiple times and show a statistically significant, correlation, because I think that the process itself changes people's brains in subtle ways.
Well, that we know that for a fact because 100% of people that have a cardiac event, specifically open heart transplants, are depressed. But what they're saying is this is not this. This is something totally different. This is picking up somebody's energy.
Well, that's what
in a different way.
Their
right?
energy.
Now, hey, listen,
I'm okay
the
with
Star
it.
Wars guy. You were talking about energy, but it's imprinted. It's imprinted in their cells. I'm telling you, man. This is
epigenetics
real.
could be
real,
a thing.
man.
It could
It's
be
real.
an epigenetic thing.
Sure.
Epigenetics it have to do with proteins that turn certain genes on and off. The genes remain the same, but the proteins can turn them on and off. And if this person has epigenetic proteins in the heart that then are transferred to other parts of the body. But, preferences and these kinds of things are encoded in the brain. They're not encoded in other proteins. So these things that have to cross, come on.
No, I'm not buying it.
Not to bring up a sore subject, but COVID completely changed my taste buds.
Yeah, sure.
So I just don't understand how a heart could.
Well, because we can't understand it doesn't mean it's not true, but there are studies that we could do. And yes, okay. But there are studies that we could do to see if there's a correlation. The thing is that what Scott's talking about, he has sort of the ancient Greek idea of what consciousness is that it's kept in the chest somewhere. The ancient Greeks thought that they thought in their chest. and or some of them did. And we now know that we think in our brains, but that can be affected. The way we think can be affected by things outside the brain, no question about that.
Like your penis.
Testosterone and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Other things
exactly.
like that. Yeah.
I definitely think by my penis. I mean,
We'll have to finish this next
Okay,
time.
we're going to do more research on this, by God. We'll figure it out. Well, and Scott, look, we don't know everything, obviously. So you were talking earlier about some droplets of water thing where monks. Tell us that story.
So they did a study where under microscopy, under an electron microscope, they had droplets of water, and they just had some Buddhist monks go and pray or meditate over a couple of these droplets of water, and actually changed under the electron microscope. What changed the structure of the droplets of water? It actually
changed the
morphed
structure
them and moved them.
Okay, so it changed the shape of the droplets of water.
Yeah.
So what did they then have? Just an Elvis impersonator come in and see if they could change it as well without knowing what they were doing?
Oh, I think the control was just nobody did anything to the other water droplets.
No, you have to have another person because, were the monks, were they chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo or something like that over if they were making noise, then you have to have somebody else in there making noise.
Vibrating.
That's not,
Yeah, it's a pretty cool movie. It's called What the Blank Do We Know?
Okay. There's all kinds of shit we don't know. There's no question about that.
Was that also Dr. Emoto?
I think so.
Okay, he's the one with the rice experiment.
So what's
It's
the
very
rice experiment?
similar.
Yeah.
A friend of mine actually told me to try this. Well, it was my brother, whatever. He really loves Chinese medicine and all kinds of stuff, so I told him he should talk to you. But the rice experiment, you get 3 jars and put rice in them.
Okay.
And put them
Dry rice?
Mm-hmm. And put them in different places in your home.
Okay.
And one jar you do nothing with, you ignore it. One jar you love for 5 minutes, like whatever. I guess just tell it you love it or not really.
You're hot.
Okay, this is taking a turn again.
Yes. Yes.
But just like something that you love, just talking about it, I guess, near
Okay.
that jar. And then hate is in another room in the house. And so
Okay.
you release your hate for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And you do that, I want to say he told me for 30 days. I was trying to find I just have brief notes. My
And
brother
you're
was
sealing,
talking about so
you're
many
sealing
things.
the jars. The jars are sealed.
And after 30 days, they change, kind of like you were talking about with the water molecules. Like the one you ignore, I don't want to tell you wrong. I don't know what they did. I would have to find the article.
Well, this
but
would be a real easy test for us to do.
yeah, so I plan on doing it. So maybe you all should do it
Letting
too.
out your heat, your anger.
I'm
yes.
going to just hate the
Hate.
shit out of that one jar. I have a
Yes.
lot of hate right now. I love my new puppy, so I can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll try to find the article.
So what changes
and tell you.
do you see?
Basically, if I can remember correctly, because again, I don't have the article in front of me, but the one that you loved did positive things. I don't know what. Like, I don't know the answer to this. I'd have to bring up the article. I'm trying to just remember this conversation
Maybe the
with
one
my
that
brother.
was ignored kind of dries out, withers. And the one,
I'm trying to find it.
The one
Again,
that's
my
love
brother, when he
sprouts,
gets
yeah.
on tangents, he just goes and goes and goes. And I just try to remember bits and pieces that kind of triggered my interest.
Yeah. Okay, so it says here, Emoto's original experiment, he found the rice that he spoke kind words to remained mostly white, while the rice that he spoke negatively to turned moldy, providing physical evidence of the power of positivity. Okay, now, again, I'd want 3 perfectly sterilized jars, the rice handled the same, and then...
Well, then get it ready for us.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Okay, and then this has to be reproducible. When you do a study, other people have to be able to reproduce it, you know? But no, I think we don't need fucking rice to tell us that being positive is a good thing. Particularly when they're talking about it. Well, this is
some
proof
of us do.
that you should be positive to your kids. We have other proof that says we should speak positively to our kids. We don't need magic tricks to do that, do we?
Sometimes you do.
Okay.
When you're in a really dark place, it's really nice to have something simple to
Especially
just
Rice,
prove.
you can be nice to or be
That
mean
book,
to.
The Power of Positive Thinking, is something worth reading. Maybe Carissa.
Oh.
Oh, am I too negative for you all?
No, it's a great book, though. I mean, when things get, I've read it a couple of times. It's and it's an super easy read, and it just. Who wrote that book,
Okay.
Steve?
What's it called?
Power of positive thinking.
Oh.
Okay,
The
Scott, I
biology
have
of
the
belief
I
is
have
good,
the
too.
water thing, and what you said was kind of true. Emoto separated water into 100 petri dishes and assigned each dish a fate, good or bad. The good water was blessed or praised for being wonderful. One day you shall be a water slide. I don't know if water wants to be a water slide. I don't think maybe they're like, oh fuck, we're going to be a water slide. People's filthy asses on us.
Yay,
Anyway,
Splash Country.
The bad water was scolded. Each petri dish was frozen allegedly under similar conditions. And lo and behold, when the frozen water was viewed under a microscope, the water which had been praised and valued had rearranged itself into beautiful crystalline structures. The bad water was as ugly as ice crystals can get, showing lack of symmetry and more overall jaggedness. So,
But that's also biased. What if you thought the ugly ones were pretty?
that's right. Yeah. Maybe the crystal ones were water molecules committing suicide because this idiot was talking to them like the children. So,
He's not an idiot, damn.
no, I'm just saying that. No, I'm not saying he's an
my
idiot.
God.
I'm not saying he's not. So, I'm just saying the water is saying that because somebody's talking to them. Like, ooh.
Well, how do you know water has energy, right?
Yeah, but
Maybe if you talk to your lavender, it would already be
But seriously,
flowering.
water has energy, right? Because that's why you have to wipe yourself off after taking a shower because it sticks to you.
Okay.
Well, it's electrical, right?
Oh my God.
Well, isn't it?
Oh my God, I can't. Yes.
Yes.
Water has a dipole moment. That is true
Right.
because it's hydrogen and 2 oxygen, and it has a slight dipole moment.
Right.
That's what you're asking.
Because
about,
if it didn't and you took a shower, you
course.
didn't have to have a towel.
everything. Oh, okay.
You wouldn't. It'd just run right off of you.
Everything has energy that exists in this universe. That is absolutely true. E equals mc squared, right? So that is the equivalence of mass and energy when mass is at rest. And so yes, everything has energy, but so what? Doesn't mean that it has feelings.
Depending on how you define feelings.
Okay, this study has been reproduced multiple times, and when I say reproduced, they've tried to do the study and they can't reproduce the findings.
Yeah.
It says here, Dr. Emoto's assertion that intention can affect soppy rice doesn't hold water. That was not reproducible. So anyway,
Maybe they had some sourpuss doctor trying to change the
Sourpuss doctor.
trying to get good energy to the rice.
Right.
I'm going to act like I'm giving you positive feedback, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, this is all faith-based, and it's fine. You can believe whatever you want, but science just doesn't work on faith-based statements. Well, some science does. Some of the shit that we went through for the last 2 years was touted to be science, but was indeed faith-based. So, but yeah, we could do the study. I'm interested in doing it. Fuck, I'm interested in anything. I've had things in my life that have happened that I can't explain. Mm-hmm. We can't explain consciousness. Mm-hmm. Consciousness can explain all kinds of things, but it can't explain itself.
Which means it doesn't exist?
No. It means something much, much deeper than that.
Means we can't understand it.
Hold out your right finger and point it out away from you. Okay? Now, touch the tip of your right finger with the tip of your right finger. That is an experience you will never have. You cannot have that experience. You can touch it with other things, but that's you think about it, there's all kinds of ways that we are constrained, and we don't even realize it unless. And you may say, well, that's trivial, but think about it. It's actually sort of profound that there are experiences that we cannot have, even though we're here in this world, and not just crazy transcendental experiences, very mundane experiences. So. That's Alan Watts thing. I mean, I'm a huge Alan Watts fan. I'm a fan of Zen Buddhism and metaphysics, but I'm also interested in not bullshitting people by thinking that rice has feelings. But anyway, we'll see. We'll just by God do it, and we'll by God see. And then we'll cook the rice and see if it tastes different.
But rice being a vegetable was a living thing, right? So it's got to have energy. It's got to have...
Okay, well, the rice, white
plant.
rice is just basically the starch left that was the food for the seed.
Right.
It's not the actual seed.
It's just sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's energy, baby.
So? Doesn't mean it has feelings.
Wrap it up. Let's get out of here. We
You
got
don't have feelings either.
I don't. I do have feelings. I have very intense feelings. Thank you. All right. Thank you to Dr. Scott and Tacie and DNP Carissa. Thanks to everyone who's made this show happen over the years. Listen to our Sirius XM show on the Faction Talk channel, Sirius XM channel 103, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, on demand, and other times at Jim McClure's pleasure. Many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to check out our Patreon. I'm going to be doing some live streaming from there very soon with open invitations, people to just join. I think it's going to be fun. Go to our website at drsteve.com for schedules, podcasts, and other crap. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps, quit smoking, get off your asses, and get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.